It's a new day at the House of Tiny Tearaways, and it's a trying time for our three families.
I'm not going to sit here and watch you guys argue. If you want to argue, you can pack your bags and go home.
Welcome to the House of Tiny Tearaways, home for the week to three families who are living and working together to find the solutions to their childcare problems. And the person they trust to help turn their lives around is clinical psychologist Dr Tanya Byron.
Is it all right?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to get up and see. If you're not...
I'm sorting myself out. I'm on nothing, man. I don't want to hear you now.
Last night, the other families witnessed the Pitt family's row over Alex's decision to breastfeed Toby. This morning, Harrison Dixon and Sarah McMillan continue to discuss the Pitt family situation.
What's wrong with Alex? Is she just a bit knack, is she?
Alex is very much like me. She's got that wall up.
Doesn't let nobody in.
Very much like that.
He's good with the kids. He's always out here entertaining the kids.
But then, see, he's away a lot at home. She said sometimes, she said it's not even weekends, he's not, sort of like not here. He's gone sort of like for so long and everything like that. So, I said to her, I said, you're an emotional wrecking side, aren't you? And she just looked at me and she was like, yeah, she said, I am.
Hope we get it sorted.
While 2-year-old Toby and older brother Timu play with Kelsey McMillan, Tani has asked Alex and Tony Pitt to the consultation room.
Not a very happy couple this morning.
No.
Right, OK. I do know what's happened because I've seen everything, but would you just like to talk me through it very quickly? Tell me, Tony, you asked me to help you last night on your video diary.
And she breastfeeding again, so...
It's, yeah, I thought I did pretty well the day before and yesterday, not feeding him at all. And I just decided that, you know, maybe if he got up, if I was there, I would try and comfort him. And it might happen that I might actually feed him because it would be...
Mine already,
because you won't let me speak. If you won't, okay. Do you want me to speak, or you want to just speak for me? And if I did want that in my mind, so what?
If it's once it's in your mind, I mean, it's gonna just happen.
Tanya and I have been talking yesterday about if I was really okay with not feeding him ever again, and I said I would try.
In your head, Tony, giving up breastfeeding means, OK, we're giving up, finished, done, it's over. In your head, Alex, it means...
Now it means I gave him that feed last night and now it's over. That was the last feed.
OK, I believe you, because I knew yesterday when we were talking that you would feed him.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
But also what I saw yesterday was you, Alex, really struggling with the emotion of everything. But the two of you were so far apart from each other. And it's not healthy for the two of you in your relationship, and it's not going to be healthy for the boys.
I would like, Tony, I would like you to understand the emotions I'm going through and to cuddle me. And just show me you don't even have to listen to what I'm saying, you just have to hug me. You know, because as well as giving up the breastfeeding, I'm having to give up sleeping next to him and hugging him. It's really hard sitting in the other room when you're getting up to deal with him and knowing that I'm not allowed to go in there and hold him.
Yeah, but this is what you was having me a go at home for. Because you've been telling me, oh, you just sit downstairs there. You don't even come upstairs to help me with the boy, and he's waking up, and he's this and that. I need to get sleep. I am fed up. I am tired. There's the things you've been stuck in my head. That's why I say, okay, when you come here, you gotta try and make this change, okay?
Yeah, I'm
make
trying
a sacrifice. I don't care if it's for the 5 nights. I'm gonna keep my boy's eyes open. Just to try to make things a little easier for her, but it's still hard.
You're not all right, Tony. What I want from you is it all right? This is more that I want from you, okay? You have to get up.
I feel I'm so far apart from you right now. You won't believe it.
Yeah, so shut up.
I feel like that's when this finishes. I'm just gonna leave. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
how I feel too. And how do you, that's not supporting me, is
leave.
it? That isn't supporting me.
No, that's why I feel sometimes you don't really understand.
You know, I'm not going to sit here and watch you guys argue.
No.
Seriously, if you want to argue, you can go outside and argue, or you can pack your bags and go home. I mean, I think you guys need to stop talking and arguing and need to listen, maybe. Both of you are so entrenched, stuck in your own perception of how things should be done, that neither of you are prepared to look at the other person's point of view. I suppose what I'm curious about, and I'll start with you, Tony, is why you are finding it impossible to have any emotional understanding of where your wife is coming from.
I do understand. I just maybe doesn't show it.
But Tony, you see, yesterday I was fascinated by you because I felt yesterday you were just kind of sitting around waiting to do what you had to do to solve this problem. And the only time you came to life was when we did that puppet show at the end of the day, and you were singing and you were laughing and you put your arms around your boys, and there was this huge, from you, inside you, there's this powerhouse of energy and warmth that
I don't smile anymore. I used to. They always used to call me the laughing boy.
Yeah.
I know.
This is great. I like this face, but I don't see this face.
That one too.
I know. I kind of lose it a little bit. I really lose it. I don't really laugh. I always had a joy all the time.
Yeah.
Can I say to you both that you will do this once you come together, and that means, Tony, that you put your arms around your wife every so often and say to her, "I think you're doing great, and I love you, and it's going to be okay."
Anytime you feel
Anytime, and that you ask for that. But equally, Alex, I think you have to show Tony that you are now in a stronger, more practical place. I think you've both been very strong. I think you just need to come together. So I'm going to leave you now in here for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And you decide what you need to do together in order to get yourselves back on track again. And then the rest of it will be a lot easier. Okay?
Okay.
So I'll see you a bit later on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Give me a hug now, please.
Let's talk about the pits. Was that a good consultation? Are they on the same page?
No, I think, Tony is the sort of man who's like, OK, we've made a decision, we're going to go with it. For her, there's much more of an emotional content to what is happening.
Is that normal?
Oh, absolutely. I think normal in the sense that that's what is happening to her. It's a very primitive experience between a mother and a child, and particularly because Toby, she knows as her last child, it's saying goodbye to a part of her as a mother that she will never experience again. And I think to have Tony being as kind of cut and dried as he is about, right, that's it, we've made the decision, let's do it, is part of the problem for her. So if he can show her more empathy and understand that this is a separation for her of sorts, then I think she will feel much easier about letting go of it.
Do you always have to sort out the parents before the children? I mean, Toby and Timu, they're not really the story, are they? This is Alex and Tony.
But are the children ever really the story? If you have a child with extreme behaviour problems, the first question you have to ask is not how do we solve the problems, but why are the problems there in the first place?
Sarah McMillan is desperate to curb 4-year-old daughter Kelsey's prolonged tantrums. Kelsey's behaviour is particularly bad when she's out in public places, so Tanya wants to send Sarah on an outing with Kelsey to see how she copes with the new techniques.
Today, you're going out without me, on your own, with your daughter, to an environment where I know she has been difficult, and I'm going to monitor your progress.
Right, yeah.
You're doing so well in the house, it's time to move it on.
Yeah.
Now, the mechanism for motivating good behaviour is a trolley and a bag of balls.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, you're going to be out for a few hours, and what you're going to say to Kelsey is, for every 15 minutes in the beginning, that she's good, you will say, oh, look, it's time for a ball, and you put a ball in the bag.
Yeah.
OK? And what she is told is if she gets a certain number of balls in the bag, which you will decide at the end of the day, she will get a treat.
Right, yeah.
But if she doesn't, she won't.
Right, yeah.
OK? Now, you're going to be going to places where she will be bored and fidget and blah, blah, blah. So if you want to take some additional ammo. You know, you could take books if you wanted some colouring pencils and some paper.
So normally, I must admit, I don't.
No, most parents don't, and then wonder why their child is bored out of their heads and starts kicking off. So, how do you feel?
A bit nervous, but looking forward to it.
A few minutes later, and Sarah and Kelsey leave the house to catch the bus into town.
Look, I'll hold it up for you.
No.
Come on, then.
No.
Come on, please.
I'm going to hold it on my
All right, you
own.
hold it. Now, come on. Come on, please. Come on, because we've got to go out the gates.
I can't.
Yes.
They keep falling.
Kelsey, I asked you. Now, please listen to me and come on, let's walk. Now.
Can I put this up?
You won't be getting any balls. Remember, you've got to get all these balls, haven't you?
What do you think will happen today with Sarah and Kelsey?
Well, what we know, and from Kelsey's profile, is that she'll lie on the floor and she won't move, and they've had sort of dragging, and Sarah's walked away, and so it's all rather unpleasant.
Right, you stay down there on the floor then.
You ain't going to get boots.
No, I haven't. I'm going to get wet feet, aren't I?
I mean, the whole quality of their relationship has really kicked around in this house. It's much more positive, and Sarah's thinking much more from a motivational point of view with her child rather than a punitive, angry, arguing point of view.
No, not yet.
Come on then. Out we go. That's it, come on, let's walk up here.
So I need to see when they're out of this wonderful house, is the behaviour going to happen, and if it does, what are you going to do about it? And I want to see whether she can really use all the skills that we've been discussing in the house and her imagination to think of other ways of managing her daughter.
The Dixons had an emotional day yesterday.
I'm stuck in a marriage that's there for convenience, and I'm there to cook, clean and look after the children, that's it.
But today, Tanya wants to concentrate on their 5-year-old son, Harrison, who lives on chocolate, bread and butter and milk. Since coming to the house 3 days ago, he still hasn't made much progress with his eating. Tanya has tried to introduce communal mealtimes to encourage him to mimic the other children's eating, and stickers as an incentive, but improvements are small and slow. Tanya believes Harrison's eating problem is probably linked to broader anxieties, so she set up a papier-mâché exercise for all of the families to highlight some of the underlying issues.
Toby and...
That's it.
Tony.
Toby and Tony and Timo.
You're fascinated by this,
Yeah.
specifically Harrison. Why?
Because he's very, very anxious about putting his hand in the glue. He's very stiff. He's holding his hands like this, and he's taking the paper out like this. Compare him to the other children who've obviously been doing this for a long time. It's fascinating to me how he's so afraid of wetness, of goo, of texture, of anything like that.
Mum.
Why though?
My hand's getting sticky.
That's okay, doesn't matter.
It's all right.
So?
Doesn't matter.
Are you in the shower or something?
Why?
Why is that, and is it linked to his eating problem?
Oh, without a doubt in my mind, and this is now it's all kind of crystallising for me.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Look at Toby!
The only kind of liquid that he will ever ingest is pints and pints of milk every day, and one of those very, very sealed beakers. It's never on his hands. He's never in a cup so he could spill it or anything like that. Chocolate buttons, dry, in the mouth, done. Bread, dry, in the mouth, done. And I think this child has such an aversion to wetness and texture. Look at, I mean, can you see his face?
Yeah, he's very anxious.
He's very, very anxious. And hurrah for the pit boys who are just completely schlop. The only way to improve his feeding problem is to slowly introduce him to wet foods. You know, I want, later on this afternoon, if I've got time, to get them chucking jelly at each other.
Do you?
Really, really, I do.
Won't that totally freak him out? If this is making him anxious, a jelly chucking competition...
Well, yes, I think it probably will, but I think, you know, we just do it in a very controlled way.
Well, then you help Mummy, Harry. Because I'm doing yours here.
His mum, Sarah Dixon, has mentioned the fact that she says that her home is like a show home.
All the links are there. Anxious mother about cleanliness, about tidiness. Mother who will over-wipe. Child who thinks, ooh, wipe. He keeps saying to his father, wash my hands, Daddy, wash my hands, Daddy.
You all right, mate?
I didn't know what
Yeah,
you
it's only a little bit.
It's only a little bit, mate. Don't worry about it. Daddy's not worried.
No, we're not worried. That'll come off, yeah.
So parents who like their children clean should maybe change their minds and like their children dirty.
Oh, absolutely. Just let, you know, wet wipes banned, you know. Food Slop, let it happen, that's how we learn. But also if you have a child who's very finicky about messing about food, get out the paints, get out the finger paints, get out the face paints, get out the goo, get out the clay. It's got to feel wet.
Harry's just sticking his hands right in there. Harrison's going to help us as well, aren't you, Harry?
Well, Toby, that looks...
Harrison Dixon is a little boy with a very, very low self-confidence and a very low self-esteem. He's frightened, he's so frightened and he's so unconfident about something that a 5-year-old boy, I mean, you know, he should be diving in there.
Don't wash your hands.
They're sticky.
I know they're sticky, but they're supposed to be like that. You're supposed to put layers of paper mache on
I think we're
that.
worrying too much about getting sticky and messy because it's just flour and water.
I know you don't usually like getting squidgy, do you?
No, it's getting messy.
I think for little Harrison now, less pressure on eating. I mean, let's just make eating fun.
Yeah.
Just less pressure on him. But I think more setting up as many different things as we can for learning. So he can leave here starting to believe that he can do things and he is a champion and he's an excellent boy.
No.
Come on that side.
That was fascinating to me. I learnt a lot from that. What did you get out of that experience?
Well, Harry obviously wants to be clean all the time.
He associates food with getting dirty, I suppose, isn't it? Because he looked at that and was in sheer panic.
Yeah,
I'll
he
put
did.
my
I
hands
saw
in
the
that.
look. I saw the look on his face. He went, "I'm not putting my hand in there." Because go on, then I said, "What's it?" I'm trying to get him to feel it and say, "What's it feel like?" And he went soft, and then he went,
And he was very anxious, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I had to wash him off.
If the plate of food that you're going to give him, that what do you notice about the food that
Soft.
he's prepared to eat?
It's soft.
But what else?
You don't have to chew it. You don't have to get dirty with it.
Yeah, it's clean, dry food. And you remember the roast chicken, the roast you made the other
Yeah,
night,
and had
which was
gravy
all
on it.
kind of gravy and sloppy and
Yeah,
mushy.
now you should say that. This morning I was trying to get him to munch up his Weetabix, and obviously I had milk in.
Right.
It's things touching each other. He doesn't like that food-wise.
Yeah.
I'm clearer now than I've ever been before about what we need to do to help Harrison. I'd like you two to feed all the children on in a picnic in that room. So the 2 boys and Harrison and the 2 of you having a picnic in the quiet room.
Okay.
It's the halfway point for the families in the House of Tiny Tearaways, and Tanya still has a lot of work ahead of her. Single mum Sarah McMillan has been struggling to cope with 4-year-old Kelsey's frequent tantrums and wanted Tanya's help in controlling this behaviour. Yesterday, Sarah had an emotional realisation that Kelsey is the adult in their relationship and that she needs to reverse their roles.
She's got too much on her shoulders at such a young age.
The Pitts are mum Alex, dad Tony and their sons, 7-year-old Timu and 2-year-old Toby. Alex is still breastfeeding Toby, and as well as her sleepless nights, this is causing problems in her relationship with Tony.
You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to give him it.
I wanted to cuddle him.
Sarah and Darren Dixon are trying to resolve 5-year-old Harrison's behavioural and eating problems. His normal diet consists of bread, butter and chocolate. Tanya has been working on Mum and Dad's approach to parenting, encouraging them to show praise and affection towards Harrison to teach him to behave better.
What do I look like?
But with only 2 days left in the House of Tiny Tearaways, the pressure is on for Tanya. Tanya has sent Sarah and Kelsey on a shopping trip so that Mum can practice new techniques to keep Kelsey under control.
Shopping trips are usually
Be quiet.
not very good. I try and do them when Kelsey's at play school. It's normally a nightmare. So I'm not looking forward to it.
For every 15 minutes that Kelsey's good, she'll be given a ball to put in her bag. If she gets enough, there'll be a treat at the end of the day.
Would you like to choose a ball? Go on then, you choose a ball. You want a yellow one? That is brilliant. We've got our first ball. Aren't you lucky? Hello. You want Mummy to read the story? It's go wild with noises. And what does lions do? Wow. That's right. That's a good girl. Well done. Get down and come back here, please.
But the good behaviour doesn't last long. Before they set foot in a shop, Kelsey starts playing up.
Kelsey, asked you to come back here, please? Kelsey? Right, now I am taking the trolley. No, I am taking the trolley now. No, don't hit me, please.
I don't want to.
Get here now.
Sarah's not letting Kelsey get the better of her and uses Tanya's time out in public method to calm Kelsey down. She silently holds 4-year-old Kelsey still for 1 minute of every year of her life. It's only been a 4-minute tantrum. Before, they could have lasted an hour and a half.
It is now, Kelsey, 12:15. Now, you should have now had another ball. But because you were naughty, no, because you were naughty outside, then Mummy's not going to let you have one. But cheer up, because we are going to get lots and lots more. Come on, that is a good girl.
This bit's slippery.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to walk carefully then, won't you? See what the time is? It is now past, yeah? And because you have been really, really good, what do you get because you've been really good and you've walked nicely? Kelsey?
And you get a ball.
That is right, you get a ball. So would you like to choose yourself a ball?
Yeah.
Yeah? And what colour ball would you like this time? A green ball. Excellent. Can you sit down and listen to me, please?
No.
The book is going away.
No.
No, please, stop it. Book away. No, the book is going in the bag. You bite me.
Time out has calmed Kelsey down, but can she stay well behaved for the rest of the trip? At home, 5-year-old Harrison Dixon won't eat anything but milk, chocolate buttons and bread and butter. On Tanya's advice, the Dixons are holding a picnic lunch to try and show Harrison that food can be fun. To add encouragement, Tanya suggested that 2-year-old Toby and older brother Timu Pitt come along to join in.
There's nothing on my nose, is there? There isn't. Oh. I can see it now. Nice. Sit up then.
40.
Sit up.
You're going to have that one, are you? Who was that?
Not me. Want some look?
I would like you to look at Daddy, crack an egg for me.
Do you want to hit
first.
the egg?
You hit it.
Hit it like that, break the egg, break the shell.
Hit it hard. Hard as you can.
All the way around. Oh, yay, look at that, look.
Help Daddy peel the shell off.
Look, hold the shell off like that. Yeah, have a go. Don't want to share him.
Well, how about Harry? Try some egg.
No.
Mummy's will have one.
How about a squidgy banana?
No, that.
You don't like it? You like banana milkshake?
No, milkshake.
Want to try maple?
No, one tiny bit.
One tiny bit. Look, there's no bits in it.
No, tiny bit, Dad. The camera.
Oh, Harry had a bit of yogurt.
One for Daddy and one for Harry again. Ready?
Look, what? Ready? Harry again, look.
Got nothing on it.
I'll just
No.
make sure there's no bits and there's none on the bottom. Ah,
Good boy.
he's a big monster. One for Daddy.
The session continues fairly well, but Harrison's entrenched aversion to new foods and any mess mean there's still a long way to go.
Harry's crisps are messy.
Don't. Stop it.
It's Harry's Crispies.
Do it.
You're doing really well.
The McMillans are out shopping to see if Sarah can manage Kelsey's behaviour. As a reward for being good, she's given balls to collect. If she gets enough during the day, Mum Sarah will buy her a present.
Well done.
Now comes the biggest test. Can Kelsey sit quietly for an hour while Mum gets her hair done?
Yeah, I haven't been pampered for a long time. The last time I had my hair washed at the Hairdresser's was, it's got to be more than 2 years ago.
Like
like it? I'm getting all emotional again now. Come on, off you go. Ready? That's a good girl. Come back here, please. Stop. I asked you to come back here. Kelsey. Right, you can stand there and you can behave yourself. All right, you can sit there and behave yourself.
Sarah tries time out again, but can't get Kelsey in the right position, leaving her open to biting. But she does manage to ignore her.
Normally, if it had been in any normal situation, that would have probably lasted for anything about 5-10 minutes. So it was a hell of a lot shorter. So fingers crossed it can stay like this. You being a good girl, Mummy likes you being a good girl. You?
By the end of the trip, Kelsey has racked up 8 balls.
Because you have been such a good girl and you've held Mummy's hand like a good girl, and most of the time when Mummy's asked you to come back to me, you have come, I think you really do deserve something special. You want Cindy? You want that, do you? Yeah. OK then.
Despite the couple of tantrums while they've been out, the trip has been a real success. But will Sarah be able to continue the good progress back home?
Kelsey, that's what happens when you're a good girl. You get special presents.
Do you think Harry's changed since he's come in here?
Oh, yeah. Not the same when he came in. He would sit down and listen attentive to what you're saying there, rather than get scatty and disappear.
I think as well, I've noticed he's talking a lot more. Isn't he?
To you.
Yeah.
With his eyes contact.
Because before, you can never understand half the things he used to say.
Have we changed?
We'll soon find out when we get back, really.
Is that good? What's the door?
Fun? Let's go now.
Hey?
Friday.
Do you want to go Friday? Yeah, not today.
Next week.
Next week? Do you want to stay for another week, do you?
Yeah. Until next week.
Do you like it in here?
Yeah.
Do you?
It's really cool in here, Dad.
You having fun?
It's really cool in here.
It's been cool in here, he said.
The Pitts came to the house to address son Toby's sleeping problem. At 2 years old, Toby still demands to be breastfed throughout the night and is exhausting Mum Alex and Dad Tony. Whilst in the house, it's become evident that their relationship is strained over the problems, and Tanya wants to talk to them individually. To help focus the session, Tanya suggests they each list the key problems and successes in their relationship on a blackboard.
How many times have you felt that your marriage was at breaking point?
Let's see, over 100 times, really.
Over 100 times. All right. Who or what would you say is the cause of the problems?
Alex, she makes some mistake home, I don't know what happened, and she ended up with this man. And
Having a relationship with him?
Yeah. It just mashed up my whole body. It worried me so much. It affected me so much.
From the culture that you're from, if his wife has an affair, is that it? End of relationship? Is the man very proud and that's it? So the fact that you're still together...
I see my parents since that happened.
You haven't seen...
I can't see my dad. I don't know what to tell him.
OK, so you lost a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell him. I don't know what to say.
Have you and her talked about it much?
Yeah, we always in a bit of a fight with it. It was a big argument, and she always blame me for she going down there and do that, and you know, and all this situation. And I always say, no, I still feel that you didn't have to, and you know, you could have still keep your pride and your body to yourself and these things, because you know. And
now she's giving her body to your son for 2 years. You're not in the bed. It's all hurt and links and.
Yeah.
Can you tell me when you were happiest with Alex?
Yeah.
A time?
Yeah. When we just met and when we had Timo also. I was really happy when he just born and...
The moment of his birth?
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Oh, it was really exciting for me, you know. It was really exciting.
Did you see him being born?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been side by side with her all the way.
For your relationship, for you and Alex, what would be the best thing that you could achieve this week?
We get back in bed.
You get your what?
She really give it a serious go to stop breastfeeding.
But is it something about that you get to be in your bed with her alone?
Yeah.
Which has more than the breastfeeding. This is about you and her as a couple, man and wife, lovers, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, or is that not what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To have her back in your bed. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look.
I'm happy you do this. Trust me.
You're happy.
Yeah, because I mean I can't talk to people. It's hard for me to talk to people about it.
With Tony having shared what he feels are the major problems, Tanya invites Alex into the consultation room to do the same.
Any specific incident or situation or time in your life where you feel that things started to get bad?
Maybe the first 6 months after we had chemo was okay, and then Tony started going out a lot in the evenings and not coming back till late, sometimes not coming back till the next morning, and he'd be staying at his friend's house. But it was a time when I really needed him around. I needed the support at home, and as far as I was concerned, we separated and he moved out. But he still came around to look after Timo, and I appreciated that. I ended up having an affair with somebody for 2 weeks at the most. It wasn't important to me except that someone was paying me attention and looking after me, and that's all I'd wanted Tony to do for the last 6 months before that, and he hadn't. There's another bit of it which he might not have said to you, is that while I was having this affair, he had had a fling with a girl, but I didn't know about this until about a year later, and it was like a one-night thing. I'm not making an issue about it, but Tony's making an issue about the thing that I had, and Tony hasn't got over it.
What would be the best thing that you could achieve for your relationship with Tony this week?
If we could have some of that loving time back, you know, and do something that we really like doing together.
Where would that be?
I don't know, something romantic and sort of dancing, something to do with dancing or music.
Whoa!
Tanya invites Alex and Tony back to discuss the way forward.
I feel that they were very positive discussions. And it's given me a lot to think about how we proceed in terms of the work we do before you leave the house. Now, I'm not actually going to use the blackboard because it doesn't feel necessary, except to say that your answers were exactly the same. Your best moments were the birth of your children.
Was it really? Okay. Okay.
You both fell in love with each other. You both fell in love with each other for exactly the same reasons.
Did we?
Because when I asked you for the scale, the rating from 0 to 10 about how happy you are, you both said 7. You both said the number 7.
No way.
You are a couple who have a huge connection, who have a huge love and passion for each other, who adore your children above everything, who share the same special memories and the same special moments. But life has been difficult, there's been stresses, there's been events, and it's just kind of piled up and piled up and piled up.
Yeah.
And you've kind of lost sight of what there is. But I'm not sitting here thinking, oh Lord, you know, it's all falling apart. Listen, all I had to do was start talking to you and you put your arm around Alex and you moved next to him and...
Okay.
You both spoke of the same issue in terms of the problem. The key issue is about when people have a relationship with somebody else, an affair. And lots of people have affairs, and sometimes relationships fracture, and sometimes relationships stay together. And you also stayed together. Now that your son is out of your bed, you are now in bed together. For me, symbolically, that's huge, because you are now becoming a couple again and sharing time and space together that intimately only belongs to the two of you. I'm going to set up for you tonight a space somewhere in the house where you can be together, just together romantically. I'll set it up nicely. From where I sit, I think this is the beginning of something very new and positive for you.
Right, you hold Mummy's hand when we go indoors, OK? Show everybody how good you are.
Over the past 4 days, Tanya has taught Mum Sarah McMillan some new techniques to deal with 4-year-old Kelsey's tantrums.
Hands, please.
Today, Tanya sent them on a trip to the shops and the hairdressers to see how Kelsey would behave in public and if Mum Sarah could put what she's learnt into practice.
Go on, Kelsey, in you go.
Where did you go?
We went out for the day.
Have you had a good day?
Huh?
Have you had a good day?
Yes, blinding day.
Was she okay?
Huh?
Was she all right?
Had a moment.
You've had your hair done.
I was about to say you.
Do you know what? I noticed it when you come up, but I thought no.
Was that your treat, was it?
We went shopping.
But you know what? Your hair looks
Yeah.
really nice like
Oh,
that.
I love it. Hello.
Oh, hello!
I love it. I can't stop touching it.
I got Fairy!
Who's that?
Mummy.
How... You look
I love it.
beautiful.
I absolutely love it. I can't stop touching
Was
it.
it a good outing?
Let me
Yes,
turn the
brilliant.
fairy dress.
Any idea? Is that for me?
Look, but you didn't do that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Why did you get the fairy?
Because I did.
How many
Yeah,
balls?
why?
Did you have lots of balls in your trolley?
How many did you have? 8. I had 8 out of 15, so...
And
I thought... I was umming and ahhing a bit, and I told Harrison I don't know whether to, because the sort of the last half hour, it was problem after problem after problem. But she was dealing with it quite quickly.
look at your smile. Good
Definitely.
day.
Brilliant day.
Excellent.
I loved it. I've had a different little gal out there.
It's the 4th day in the House of Tiny Tearaways, and the parental problems of this week's families are still causing Tanya a major headache. Kelsey McMillan's tantrums have been a nightmare for single mum Sarah. With the help of her new time-out technique, Sarah has made progress, but Tanya now wants her to focus on letting Kelsey be the 4-year-old girl that she is. Despite being 2 years old, Toby Pitt is still waking to breastfeeding through the night, and as a result is giving his family no sleep at all. Since coming to the house, harsh truths have been shared by Mum and Dad, which have shed light on their parenting problems. Though they are now in the open, there is still a lot to be resolved. Mum Sarah and Dad Darren Dixon have been driven to despair by 5-year-old Harrison's behaviour. He swears, won't eat meals at all, and insists on sleeping with his parents. He's now starting to make progress, especially with sleep, but it's slow going.
You're making Daddy angry now.
With just 2 days left, the pressure is building for Tanya to get solutions, and time is increasingly precious. Earlier today, Tanya organised a messy play activity and a picnic and realised Harrison has an extreme problem with mess, especially touching wet or sticky foods. To help him overcome this fear, Tanya has organised a learning game, giving the children free rein to fire a variety of sloppy foods at their parents.
Jamu, can you come and stand back here a bit? Right, is everybody going to grab some plates? Oh, no. And, Toby, come on.
Messy play is important for Harrison because it just gives him an experience of wetness and goo and all the things that we've seen earlier that he can't do. So I'm just feeling the more activities I can get into the house for him, plus he can watch, hopefully watch the other children enjoying it, it'll be all good learning for him and desensitisation for what he's afraid of.
Aim! Fire! Come on in, let's get some throw it at them. Come on in. Let's throw it at them. Here we go, just grab one.
What's messy?
Can I just point out that these suits are warm? These suits are not warm.
He's smiling, this is good, this is positive. Go on, throw one.
Go on, little boy.
Go on, throw one, you can do it. Oh, you see all the other kids are really into it and he's kind of standing back.
Shall we get them with our hands?
Oh my God! Don't do that. Don't do that.
Timo!
Look at Sarah, that's interesting. Sarah Dixon, Harrison's mum, turning like this whenever a child comes to her with a plate. So as a role model, she's kind of, look at her body language. Yeah. Dad's kind of, yay, she's ooh, anxious. So Harrison's probably getting quite a clear message from his mum that this isn't such a good idea.
It's soaking wet, this suit, I can assure you. I can feel it.
I'm going to make you a bit lower if I...
No, you're not. You're not covered enough.
You got it as well.
You got it as well.
What have you learnt? Is it just verification of the revelation that you had before?
It's so unusual to see a 5-year-old child amongst other children who are clearly having fun, just unable to engage with it and just overwhelmed and flooded by anxiety.
Right, come on then, that's enough then. Everybody stop.
Sarah and Darren have to start linking all the pieces together in their mind, that they have not got a horrible, monster, naughty, aggressive child. They have got an anxious little boy who either fights what he's afraid of or he withdraws and runs away.
Okay.
Yes, Harry. We'll go in the bathroom.
No.
And get cleaned up again.
Right, how are we going to... No! Right.
Go in the bathroom and get cleaned
Take your
up.
jacket off.
No.
You've got it all in your hair and I think you're going to need a bath now.
Do that.
Harry hated doing that.
Spoonful of spaghetti for something of yours.
Lone parent Sarah McMillan has been using the time-out method in an attempt to calm down Kelsey's tantrums. Tanya has advised her to use this technique in the house as a last resort.
Got to get his attention
No,
first.
sit down and eat what...
Whoopsie.
Easy, girls.
Now sit down, or you are going to your bedroom. I have to tell you once more. Right. Now, you were brought into your room because you wouldn't sit down at the table and eat your dinner properly. Now, are you going to pick up all the toys you've just chucked everywhere? Come and pick the toys up, please, that you've chucked everywhere.
You have to put it all down back in.
Yep. You can pick them up and you can put them on your table.
With the allocated 4 minutes in time-out over, Kelsey returns to the dinner table.
Will you slow down, please? Kelsey, will you slow down, please?
Shut up.
Has he,
Will you
had a
slow
nappy
down,
change
please?
since
You and right, you can sit up at the table until everybody else gets down. You're not sitting there eating like an animal. She's doing it because everybody else has got down from the table. She wants to get down. Right, sit down, please.
Is that all right?
Well, your tummy's
I'm
stood
going to
up
ask
already.
you once more. Please sit down.
But just 6 minutes later, she's back in her room.
I'm going to shoot, Mummy.
In an attempt to bring some structure to the children's bedtime, Tanya brings in her nighttime routines for all of the families.
But this is tonight's routine. Let's see how you do. We've had some good routines being built up, but I now need it to get really snappy.
Toby will have to be in bed by 7, Harrison and Kelsey by 7:30, and as the eldest, Timu can stay up until 8 o'clock.
tea, play, bath, story. I'm good. Okay.
Last night, Alex gave in to Toby and breastfed him when he woke up during the night. Tonight, Dad Tony is overseeing bedtime to ensure that Alex doesn't give in again.
Okay. And that Toby bed, Daddy bed, Mummy bed. Brother, what? Daddy like right here. Daddy not going anywhere. Come on.
Put the cushions back.
You lie down there. Daddy lie down here. All right. Toby bed.
Now ready.
Di. Tu. Ta. All I want. Wow, you are. Okay, Daddy, shut up. Okay, Daddy, hush.
At home, 5-year-old Harrison Dixon has no set bedtime, falling asleep on the sofa at 11:30 and only spending the night in his parents' bed. But since coming to the house, the family have made a breakthrough, getting him to sleep in his own bed for the first time in his life. Tanya is now upping the stakes with a 7:30 bedtime, but will Dad Darren be able to get Harrison settled and sleeping that early?
Finished? Into your bedroom then. Kelsey's gone in. Give Mum a kiss.
Come on, buddy. Oh, come on. Come on, don't cry. You've been really good. Come on.
Daddy, read your story in bed. From laughs to tears in 2 moves. Give me a smile before I go. There you go. Good boy. Oh, where's your milk? There it is. Daddy loves you. Night-night. Say night-night. Good night, buddy boy. Love you. Daddy, keep looking on you, make sure you're all right. See you later.
With Harrison tucked up in bed, Mum Sarah and Dad Darren reflect on the day. Whilst Darren confides in Alex Pitt, Sarah talks to Sarah McMillan.
It was really weird because when Tanya saw Harry eating his breakfast this morning, and just after you left, she came over and she said, "Do you know what? We were just about to give Harry lunch, actually. We were just about to give him a sandwich and a packet of crisps, and we were just about to sit and eat it." And she said she just saw how we tried to offer him something else. And she come running out and she went, "I don't want you to give him that." Do you know what? It's just clicked. I know what's wrong with Harry. And just all of a sudden she came out with it and she said, "You don't like getting dirty." And she said, "Don't try saying too much." And it's really weird because now we've done all these activities, I can see.
Yeah.
You don't realise it. But me and Darren, for the problems that Harry's got, me and Darren was always blaming him rather than ourselves.
Well, we just thought Harry was a problem, but
Yeah.
the root of the problem is me and Sarah. You wouldn't think it.
No. And I
Harry's
need help.
problem with his eating and Harry's problem with his feeling of touchy things isn't down to me and Darren, I don't think. I mean, Alex sort of said, "Well, do you think that's down to you cleaning?" And I went, "Well, not really, because I'm not as bad. I'm not that bad."
It's been an emotional day for the Pitts, who admitted to Tanya they both had affairs. This has had a deep-rooted and negative impact on their relationship. Tanya has organised a romantic treat for them to have some time alone.
So,
Well,
cheers, my
you
love.
start.
Cheers. Here's a toast to the future. And let's see if we can stay together another 7 or 8 years or whatever it is we've done
100
already.
years.
100 years. So if we're not having any music, do we have to make our own?
Yeah. Yeah.
She was right though about like when she reminded me that part of the reason I wanted to do this was to show other people, you know, problems and how you can solve them. And I also like I wanted to show us as a happy family too. So are those flowers like the ones that we had when we got married? They are, aren't they? I've been looking at them and I've been thinking, are they when we're just being silly? But they are the colours, aren't they? They smell nice?
The fragrance in them. Best time that maybe ever had for a long time, innit?
After a day trip out with 4-year-old Kelsey, Mum Sarah McMillan records her thoughts in a video diary.
I've had a really good day today. Mine and Kelsey's day out was brilliant. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was great to be pampered for once. I think whilst out, Kelsey, I think she behaved brilliantly. She really did. We went into clothes shops and she was picking out clothes for me. And it was something, admittedly, I'd never ever wear, but she was picking out something feminine for me as well. So just tells me really what she wants me to be as well. I think maybe I might have to start taking heed a bit and start dressing a bit more feminine.
While Mum Alex Pitt stays in the living room, Dad Tony is trying to calm 2-year-old son Toby down as he's woken up calling out for his mum. With Toby still distressed, will Alex manage to resist going in to breastfeed him to get him back to sleep?
Turn it down so you don't hear it.